Here we go. What is going on, Cover One crew? Welcome back to the show. Hope everybody's doing better than I am because my Buffalo Bills, man, they have been eliminated by Patrick Mahomes and those Kansas City Chiefs. It hurts. I'm not even going to lie to y'all. Had to take a day to mourn the loss. It was just absolutely terrible. You guys know why we're here today, man. Finishing off the series of Dynasty Rankings wide receivers, top 30 for these gentlemen. And I mean, we got to get in the know. Basically a standpoint of where we see these players' values today. These things will change as we get into the offseason, as the coaching hires do continue, and as players get added through free agency and the NFL draft. Things will change, but if we're talking trades right now and values, you got to know. Let's start off first. On the board is Justin Jefferson, JJ. We all know it's Justin Jefferson, man. He dealt with that injury this year, 24 years of age, only played in 10 games and still cracked 1,000 yards, man. You know JJ is still the top wide receiver in this league. What's going to happen with Kirk Cousins? What's going to happen in Minnesota? It's a big revolving door potentially of quarterbacks. We could see a downgrade when it comes to the quarterback spot, even though JJ did play with lesser quarterbacks like a Mullins, like a Hall, like Dobbs. I mean, there was a rotating door, and he still was able to carve out 1,000 yards. So JJ, for me, is still your number one wide receiver. Number two, Jamar Chase. 23 years of age, 50% on the boom rate. Was not a great season for him either, and it dealt with Joey B going down with another injury. This is the biggest problem with Joey B. He's continuously dealing with some kind of ailment. Will we get to see another full season with these two? And if we do, we know the fireworks are going to continue to happen. Jamar Chase is far too good and far too talented. Still got over 1,200 yards and 7 touchdowns even without Joey B. So again, like JJ, he hit Jamar Chase, him and JJ, basically 1A, 1B, and you could say 1A, 1A. Those two are absolutely dynamos. 1 and 2 in Dynasty right now. Number 3, CD Lamb, my guy, CD. You got to love it, man. He just, okay, a lot of people were talking, even Sherman, he was talking all this smack that CeeDee Lamb is not a true alpha wide receiver. A lot of arguments saying, well, he plays a lot from the slot. Who cares? This man puts up a boatload of points. 82% on the boom rate. You cannot fade. Was the leading wide receiver in all of fantasy football, half PPR. 335.7 points for CeeDee Lamb. 1,700 yards, 135 catches, and 12 touchdowns. CeeDee is for real, man. Start to get to, put some respect behind CeeDee's name. Dallas Cowboys going to run it again with Dak Prescott, highly likely, with a Coach McCarthy once again. Don't foresee any changes coming in that offense, and they're going to continue to sling it. Will they add more weapons? We'll see. Brandon Cooks was a good, coverage puller from CeeDee Lamb all season long. Will it continue? Will they add other weapons? Absolutely, we could see it, but CeeDee Lamb is definitely my number 3 wide receiver at this point. Number 4, Tyreek Hill. I get it. Everyone's dropping Tyreek down the board due to age. He is 29 years of age. I'm not crazy enough to do it just yet. Tyreek Hill was still the number 2 ranked wide receiver, and 29 years of age, I don't even care at this point. Tyreek is still going to ball for y'all at least for another couple seasons, maybe until that contract does expire, and then he does flirt with the retirement like he's talking about. Is he going to be for real? Does he want to win another Super Bowl with a different team like Miami? We'll see. But you can't fade Tyreek at this point. He's still one of the best. It's like the CMC thing. Just because CMC's age is going up, CMC's putting up points galore. So is Tyreek Hill, man. 316 points, 81% on the boom rate. You still keep Tyreek in your top 5 because he is that good. I'm not trading Tyreek yet either as well because I think the value still will be here no matter what for this man. Number 5, Amon-Ra St. Brown. And the biggest stat that I got for Amon-Ra, 93.8% on the boom consistency rate. He rivals a CMC. It was CMC at 100%. Never seen that before in boom consistency rates. And then 93 for Amon-Ra. Absolutely stellar. Only busted in one contest. He was so damn good, man. 271 points, 119 receptions for 15, and 10 touchdowns. The way this Detroit Lions team is moving, they're in the NFC Championship now going up against those 49ers. Amon-Ra is legit, man. Told y'all in this scouting report way back in the day, if y'all followed me for a long time, I was a huge supporter and backer of an Amon-Ra St. Brown. At that time, I called him, equivalent to a Robert Woods, and that's when Robert Woods was balling, but I think Amon-Ra has surpassed that comp as well, but I was always a big fan of Amon-Ra. He is definitely number 5, and as this Detroit Lions team is only going to continue to get better, Amon-Ra is definitely going to, flirt with being in the top 3 next season. Garrett Wilson, number 6. Everyone's going to say, what are you talking about? We saw what this man can do. How can you argue elite, talented wide receivers like a Garrett Wilson playing with piss-poor quarterback play like a Zach Wilson? This man still put up 95 catches for 1042 and 3 touchdowns. You get Aaron Rodgers on this team, we could absolutely see 1,500 yards and 12 touchdowns for Garrett Wilson. He is absolutely elite, and we'll see. Is Aaron Rodgers going to stick around for more than one season coming off the Achilles? That is the question mark that we will have to see as well. But I do like how the Jets are moving in the direction. The defense is stellar still. I know a lot of y'all don't like a Robert Saleh, but I mean, he is the defensive pedigree on that team. They will get it moving. I don't like the offensive coordinator, but with an Aaron Rodgers, you know that he's going to call a lot of plays himself, and he's going to feed Garrett Wilson on the regular. With Breece Hall running the football, these three will be dynamic in 2024. Garrett Wilson absolutely jumps up to number 6 for me. A.J. Brown, number 7 at 26 years of age. Okay, and I get it. Everyone has grown-ass man A.J. Brown above a lot of these other cats right now. My biggest problem is it's not the production that A.J. Brown has, and it does taper off as the season goes on. There's 2 seasons in a row we've seen, the lackluster play in a lot of contests as the season did wear on. 70% on the boom rate is still very good, man. 1,400 yards, 7 touchdowns, over 100 receptions. But what is going on in this Philadelphia Eagles locker room, in this front staff? I mean, they're already thinking about bringing Ron Rivera as a defensive coordinator. It's just not good. I don't like it, man. Kelsey may retire on the center. We'll see what Jalen Hurts in this offense can move and do. They got to add more pieces to this wide receiver room. It's interesting. I still like an A.J. Brown, but I'm at the point right now where I would cap on his value and I would go get some right now on the trade market, and I would look for youthful talent because I think you would get a mass return for an A.J. Brown. That's why I'm dropping him down just a little bit to number 7. Still a baller, still a grown-ass man and going to produce. But I think there's better, more consistent, reliable wide receivers that we will see down the stretch because you almost feel like this could taper off very quickly for A.J. Brown if the Eagles don't figure this thing out. But I still like him at number 7. Number 8, Chris Olave, my guy, CO2. Yes, a little bit higher than a lot of y'all as well, but I've been a backer of CO2, Chris Olave, for a long time, going back to Ohio State days, and I'm not getting off this train whatsoever. 68% on the boom rate, and I mean, okay, the biggest problem is him finding the end zone. Only 5 touchdowns again. Last year, he only had 4, 87 receptions, 11-23 with a Derek Carr. This is not great passing statistics from Derek Carr. We'll see what they do in the NFL draft. There is potential. We're seeing, some mock drafts already with Bo Nix going to the Saints. That'd be all right. I'm be signed up for that. Chris Olave is in that Garrett Wilson category where Garrett Wilson may be more of the alpha. I do love Chris Olave as the top wide receiver in this offense, and he will continue to be that dog, only 23 years of age. You can't fade my guy CO2 at number 8. Definitely top 10 for Dynasty. Number 9, high riser is Puka Nacua, baby. I mean, 22 years of age, flashed on the scene. I mean, okay, I liked Puka's game. Did anybody really expect him to blow up the way he did? Hell no. There's no way we were expecting him to break rookie records. 105 for 1486 and 6 touchdowns, a nice 64% on the boom rate. So now at this point with an aging Matthew Stafford, he's still showing, signs of life that he can continue to play for another, 3 years potentially. Puka seems to have jumped Cooper Kupp at this point in this offense to be the number 1 guy, but I mean, Cooper was also dealing with some injuries, so will that be a standard and staple of things to come for a Cooper Kupp? We'll see, but I think Puka Nacua has definitely showcased the fact that he can be the lead guy in this offense, and at 22 years of age with a phenomenal rookie season, definitely in my top 10 at this point. Number 10, Nico Collins. And admittedly, I was one of the bigger naysayers on a Nico Collins coming out of college, but when you team him up with a C.J. Stroud, it changed everything, okay? And yes, I was, putting him down a lot of the time this season, and that's on me. And I wasn't a believer. He was just that field stretching guy. He's rounded out the rest of his game. His route tree looks good, fixed a lot of his hand problems. I got him at number 10. I am okay with this because I am a big backer of C.J. Stroud, like you guys know. My guy C.J. Stroud fed Collins on the regular, 73% on the boom rate, even with a Tank Dell. Even when Tank Dell went down, we saw Nico take his game to another level. 109 receptions, 1297, 8 touchdowns. Baller, man. 220 points. They're only scratching the surface in Houston at this point right now. You got to love everything that's going down in Houston. Nico is in my top 10. Number 11, Michael Pittman. I love the season. They finally force-fed this man. I mean, again, huge season, 109, 1152, and 4 touchdowns. You want to see the TDs increase for Michael Pittman, and they will be getting Anthony Richardson back this season. If A-Rich can stay on the field, stay healthy, we know his cannon of an arm. Will he figure out defenses? That's to be seen. But at least they had the foresight to force-feed a Michael Pittman with a Gardner Minshew to get these stats up. I do like Michael Pittman a lot, and he is definitely in my top 12. Number 12, DJ Moore. Caveat here, okay? I can jump a DJ Moore above Chris Olave to sit at number 8. I really can. Where we sit today is all the, uncertainty when it comes to the quarterback position in Chicago with Justin Fields. Are they going to stick with Justin Fields? Are they going to draft a Caleb Williams? So if they draft a Caleb Williams, that changes everything as well, hence why he's here at number 12. I want to know what's going down with this quarterback spot. If it is going to be continuing with a Justin Fields, I got no issues jumping him above a Chris Olave at number 8. No issues whatsoever. He had a great season, man. 96 for 13, 64, and 8 touchdowns. But where it did cripple him is when Justin Fields did go down. Boom rate consistency dropped to 47.1. So a lot of his productivity, majority of his productivity came with Justin Fields, and he did have those big boom games where he did have stretches of, disaster for our team. That's why he did cripple us at times and did sour a lot of y'all folks on a DJ Moore. He is legit. He is a good number 1 wide receiver. And if they do trade back, they do add a Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to change things as well, and I could absolutely drop him down with a Marvin Harrison. So it is going to be very much moving parts in Chicago. What are they going to do? Right now, I think it's very fair based on team situation, team dynamic. DJ Moore is number 12. Number 13, Jalen Waddle time. And the issue at hand here is that he did not have a good season. I could literally drop Jalen Waddle all the way down to number 19, but I can make all arguments for it. But I'm such a big fan of his skill set. Yes, this is the one-off year where he's dealing with so many injuries. They force-fed Tyreek Hill on the regular. You got to believe they're going to pull that back a little bit come in the season for 2024. Tua's going to have to spread the ball around. They're likely going to add in a third wide receiving option to take pressure off of a Tyreek Hill and a Jalen Waddle, which will open up the masses that much more for consistency. I do still like Jalen Waddle. I mean, 72 for over 1,000, 4 touchdowns. It's not his best season statistically when it comes to TDs. But Jalen Waddle is that guy, only 25 years of age, and if Tyreek Hill is definitely flirting with the opportunity of retirement, Jalen Waddle would shoot up the board being the wide receiver 1 default by target share. So 13 for me right now is fair, but I could absolutely drop him all the way down to number 19, and I'd feel very much comfortable with that as well. Number 14, Devontae Smith, Smitty. Philadelphia Eagles, like A.J. Brown. I mean, I love Smitty too. 25 years of age, 56% on the boom rate. Wasn't his best season, but I mean, the whole year, the Eagles, they played well enough to win, and then they just fell off a damn cliff, man. Like I said, the Eagles' wings got clipped in the postseason as well. I mean, 1,000 yards, 81 receptions, 7 touchdowns. We know what Smitty can do. He can take over games himself, as well, but we know it goes through A.J. Brown at this point, and then Smitty is kind of still, it's game scripted as well. They're going to have the games where, A.J. Brown goes off, and you got Devontae going off. So, but I mean, it still is. A.J. Brown is still the wide receiver 1 with the complement of the 1B of a Smitty, so I still like him at 14. Target share is definitely going to be here. You're going to flirt with 1,000 yards, 1,100 yards every single year, anywhere from 6 to 10 touchdowns coming for Smitty, so I think at 14, absolutely warranted and fair. Number 15, DK Metcalf. Mr. Cyborg himself, moving parts in Seattle. What are they going to do? New coaching staff coming with Pete Carroll gone. Are they going to continue to roll with Geno Smith? Highly likely due to the contract. But what are they going to do in this offense? Everyone's uplifting DK right now simply because they believe that Tyler Lockett is going to be a cap casualty come this offseason, as do I. I do believe that JSN, Jackson Smith-Njigba, showed more than enough that he can be the number 2 wide receiver next to a DK Metcalf while the Seahawks do save money on a Tyler Lockett. DK did have another good season, almost 70% on the boom rate, 1,100 yards, and 8 touchdowns, where he does drop you down a little bit in that half PPR is only 66 catches. We know what DK is. We know what he can do. It's just about the target share. How much volume is he going to get? Are they going to continue to be a run-heavy squad? Lots of question marks in Seattle that we got to have answered. So DK at 15, absolutely for me right now. Stephon Diggs, number 16. God, this one hurts, man. Bills Mafia, I apologize. There's nothing I can do at this point. While Diggs did start the season like a bat out of hell, he was booming all over the place. I believe he went 9 out of 9 to start the season for boom games, and then it just absolutely went sideways after week 10. Don't like it. He is 30 years of age. We see the Buffalo Bills losing that playoff contest. Diggs still finished 64% on the boom rate, over 1,100 yards, over 100 receptions, and 8 touchdowns. So it's not like statistically it wasn't a bad season. It was a very good season for Stefon Diggs, but he got majority of all that workload early on in the season. And then, I don't know, does it feel to me like it feels like Diggs wants to stay, but is he really motivated? I mean, he's making plays like dropping passes like that. That is so not like Stefon Diggs, and everyone's just going to claim it to be a regression. I don't know if I'm there yet because he still is one of these guys. Maybe he's trying to play his way out of Buffalo, but that contract says otherwise as well, man. It's going to be very hard for the Bills to get rid of him in a trade or release anyway. Lots of dead cap for a Stefon Diggs, so you got to believe outside of something going absolutely sideways that they trade Diggs this offseason, he's likely going to remain a Buffalo Bill in 2024. So what can we say? 30 years old. I mean, he started falling off. I'm still keeping him. You can't trade him. The value's been dropping like a fly. Right now, Stefon Diggs very difficult, but at 16, I mean, I could definitely lift him up at Jalen Waddle, put him at number 13, but 16 seems rather fair to me based on age, based on team situation. Does he want to be in Buffalo? That's the question marks. I want him to stay in Buffalo. I hope he wants to stay, but I mean, the play definitely fell off, and I think there might be some more to that off-field stuff, locker room stuff than actually is going down. Number 17, Tank Dell, my guy as well. Love this kid, man. Okay, admittedly, again, I'll admit that I didn't preach him up enough during the draft process. I thought, the weight and, the stature was absolutely going to take him down in the pros, take a couple headshots, and he's gone. Unfortunately, it wasn't the headshots. He's run blocking on the goal line, and his leg breaks. This is kind of the thing. He did very well, Tank Dell, understanding of the route combinations, when to go down, when to fight for extra yardage, and he did that very well. Protected himself extremely well, and I think that's going to be, quite a common theme for a Tank Dell moving forward, even with Nico Collins, CJ Stroud. Those two are going to be an absolute threat dynamic duo, I should say, going into the next season. Tank Dell should be healthy, fully recovered, 24 years of age, 54% on the boom rate. He almost crossed 1,000 yards on 47 receptions. He was 709, 300 more yards. He would have cracked 1,000 yards if he finished the year. He played very well, and I absolutely believe that he is so dynamic. He will continue to be force-fed with C.J. Stroud and Nico Collins. Number 18, Brandon Ayuk. Everyone is way higher on Ayuk than I am at this point. I love Ayuk. I love his game. But he's one of these guys you feel he could just completely fall off at any moment. Even though he has played well, showed that his game is improving 110%. The 49ers go in the aggregate of playmakers on this team. You got Debo, Kittle, CMC, and we'll see how long Brock Purdy lasts in San Francisco. If he wins a Super Bowl, he's going to obviously last a long time, but any fall off from Brock Purdy, and we know that this could be a revolving door of quarterbacks as well. We see the drop off from Debo when he goes down, but then Ayuk definitely does and has stepped up. I like Ayuk, but I don't think I can rank him in my top 15 right now. I got to see a little bit more of him taking everything over, even though he did have 200 points this year, over 1,300 yards. Very good season, man. There is no question about that. Very much a playmaker. You guys can have him up to number 12 if you want. I think 18 is fair for me right now because we could see it drop off at any moment in this 49ers offense. T. Higgins, number 19. This one, it's tricky as well. I almost had him out of my top 20 simply because the injuries are starting to pile up and mount. Will he return to Cincinnati? That is the biggest question mark. They say he wants to stay, but he's going to be testing the open market, trying to get that bag. Name, cachet, and play that he has shown on the field showcases the fact he is a true alpha wide receiver 1 in this league. Will he stay with Cincinnati? Again, that is the biggest question mark. Injuries did pile up, only 33%, so that's why I got him here at 19. He could be playing with Bryce Young next year in Carolina. That would absolutely cloud a lot of things for me with T. Higgins also. That's why I'm playing it a little safer. Got him here at number 19. Number 20, youth movement starts to take place. We got Jordan Addison. This is my guy, Addy. You guys know, man, he was my number 1 ranked wide receiver coming out of this past draft class, and he definitely repaid us, man. Almost got 1,000 yards, 70 for 911, and a whopping 10 TDs, baby. I believe he was the league leader for rookies in touchdown receptions this year, if I am not mistaken. Check me on that. But Addy is that dude, man. So again, if they do add, if they keep Kirk Cousins, it's all good. It's gravy, man. We know what Kirk can still do in this league. If they add a quarterback like, say, a Michael Penix, if they find their way to trade up in this draft, get a better quarterback, than Michael Penix, even though Penix is still really good, there's going to be growth time as well. I believe this offense is going to be just moving in the right direction. Will JJ sign? That's another thing as well. His contract extension is definitely looming, so we could see a Jordan Addison effect if so happens JJ does depart and go somewhere else. Jordan Addison could be the wide receiver 1 in Minnesota. He's at number 20 for me. I absolutely, even though I don't think JJ is going anywhere, I absolutely love Addison as the number 2 with JJ, as he sees a far lesser coverage, and you're going to see him score touchdowns for days. He is at my number 20 right now and moving up my board. There it is. Jaden Reed, number 21, Green Bay Packers youth movement. Love it as well. Jaden Reed kind of pulled away from the pack and, supplanted himself as being the top target for a Jordan Love, even though Love does spread the ball around to everybody, man. We got Dobbs, Wicks, Watson, Reed, the running backs, the tight ends. We can see Jordan Love doing it and spreading it all around. That's kind of why he's here at 21. So many mouths to feed, so much spread in this offense. Will Jaden Reed take over next year and be the number 1 wide receiver? He does have the jet sweep appeal as well. Wait until Christian Watson does come back healthy. I do believe Watson will could jump him as well, so they could have 2 really talented, speedy wide receivers on this team in Reed and Watson. Absolutely love him, man. Number 22, Debo. Okay, and Debo's falling down my board just a little bit. Injuries and age are starting to creep up on Debo a little bit. I still believe, even with CMC, the rushing upside definitely has fallen off, but he still finished as the number 12 ranked wide receiver this year. Very good season once again. You can absolutely keep a Debo on your team and be satisfied as your wide receiver 2. I don't know if I'm going wide receiver 1 anymore with Debo, because, it is capped off in the pass game, 60 for 892 and 7. So he is still scoring the touchdowns, which is uplifting his stock. He is still getting some touches in the rushing upside, which is increasing his stock and inflating his numbers. How often will this continue? 60% on the boom rate? Not great. Injuries, again, creeping up late in the season. Debo's always been a physical specimen, and the injuries will continue to pile up. 22 for me. Absolutely reasonable for Debo Samuel. Rashee Rice, KC. Yeah, man, if it was up to me, I'd have no Kansas City Chiefs on my list at all. Damn those Chiefs. But, Rashee Rice, he showed it very well. Is he going to be the Patrick Mahomes wide receiver 1? We'll see. Will the Chiefs add wide receivers this offseason? 110% they will. You got to believe they have to, even though they're in the AFC Championship, and prove that they can do it regardless of who's on the field in this wide receiver room. Rashee Rice definitely took over as the season did go on. 173 points, almost 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns. Found that nose for the end zone. His, route tree, not so great. It's improving, not great, but the yak ability definitely on par with a Rashee Rice. 23 is good for me. Here's the part where I don't like Dynasty, because I would love to lift these guys up way up my board. Mike Evans, Devontae Adams, 24 and 25. It feels disrespectful, especially with how Mike Evans played, being the 5th-ranked wide receiver in all of fantasy football. Devontae Adams, number 11. Right now, I'm telling y'all, if you want to get out on the age bandwagon, you're rebuilding your teams, now's a great opportunity to sell Mike Evans and Devontae Adams, because name cachet and the seasons that they did possess, you can still get a lot back for these gentlemen. However, the age will eventually take over. We'll see what happens in Las Vegas. Mike Evans is a free agent. Will he return to Tampa Bay with Baker? We'll see what happens. A lot of moving pieces, hence why I got him here at 24 and 25. But I still love the play. If you got him, you're competing for Dynasty Championships. Absolutely, I can see keeping Mike Evans and Devontae Adams on my roster. Good another, 3 seasons for both these gentlemen of high quality receiving upside. Mike Evans, 79 for 1255 and 13 touchdowns. One of his better seasons in the entire NFL, where it was Devontae Adams. He did have big blow-up games, 47% on the boom rate. Not great, so he did cripple you at times, and that was due in part to Aiden O'Connell and the poor quarterbacking of the the Las Vegas Raiders, but I mean, still 103 receptions, 1144, and 8 touchdowns. Devontae still will be that dog for y'all, no kidding. So if you're challenging for championships, I'm okay keeping these guys where they are. And if you are rebuilding, trade, get that value as soon as humanly possible. Drake London, number 26. This feels a little criminal as well. He is only 22 years of age. He is just scratching the surface. Yes, with his poor quarterback play, 69 receptions for 905 and 2 touchdowns. He's not finding the end zone. That's what's killing his stock, man. It's just not near enough. What will Atlanta do? They draft what? Pick number 8? Will they be in the running for a quarterback? Will they trade up? Are they going to go in the free agent market? Are they going to go get Bill Belichick and Kirk Cousins, which is the rumor as well? Then this uplifts Drake London. Absolutely. We could jump him from 26 all the way into my top 20 easily if we get a new quarterback with Bijan. I mean, with Kyle Pitts. Drake London's absolutely going to explode with a good quarterback, and he is dying for one. Right now, we got to go with what we know, and right now, 26 is absolutely reasonable and fair because of the quarterback situation, and what are they doing at the head coach spot will definitely tell the tale. Number 27, Jackson Swinton-Jigba. I got him here higher than a lot as well because I do believe that they are going to move on from Tyler Lockett. I think that JSN showed more than enough down the stretch that he is that quality guy from Ohio State as well. I'm a Ohio State Buckeye supporter. I love it. And I think that these guys, it's basically wide receiver U at this point. They're just breeding wide receivers here, and JSN is that dog. He does have comparable traits and skill sets to likeness of a Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave. A little bit of a mix in that sense. I love his route tree. Once he figures it out, stays out of the medical room, JSN is going to be an absolute dog in this league, and I love it here at number 27. Number 28, Zay Flowers. Want to boost him up a little bit more, but I mean, his boom rate just killed me. And then the way that Lamar Jackson still does not continue to spread the ball around to support multiple pieces in this offense, Zay's an absolute explosive playmaker. He's going to give you the point productivity, 167 points, but is it going to be something like we saw with Hollywood Brown, or is he ever going to get above the 1,200 receiving mark? These are the questions that we always see with Lamar Jackson. Yes, Lamar has improved as a passer. Is it going to be consistent, or is Lamar just going to win football games? This is what Baltimore does, man. Plays great defense, run the football, and then try to spread it around to your playmakers. Will Zay ever become that top guy that we're looking for with the 1,200 plus yards? It's to be seen. Love Zay Flowers a lot. I think he's a quality talent. 28 right now. I can't move him up any higher. Keenan Allen, number 29. Age is the biggest impact, even though he was the number 8 ranked wide receiver. New head coach coming. Herbie's going to be coming back to full health. We got to see more wide receivers added, and you got to believe at some point, Keenan's going to have the fall off in the drop off. 108 for 1,243 and 7 touchdowns was a great season. Injuries did pile up at the end, but their season was out of reach, so there was no point to force the issue for Keenan Allen. Got some probably rest over the fact he could have played if they were challenging for a playoff spot. Keenan Allen absolutely could be lifted right up to the 24-25 with Mike Evans and Devontae Adams. Have no issues with that as well. Age definitely drops him down at this point. Cooper Kupp to finish it off at number 30. Again, man, aging vets with injuries. I mean, Will Cooper Kupp, how long is he going to continue to play? I mean, he did not look like himself this entire season. I got no, qualms about it that he's going to bounce back, have a better year health-wise next year, but how long will it go? Puka clearly jumped him in this season with the way that Matthew Stafford was force-feeding a Puka over Cooper Kupp. But I still believe that his value is definitely going to be here, a ranking above 30. But at this point in Dynasty reasons, I got to say we got to drop him down, wait for his season to increase next year, and then try to shop him, I want to believe, as they move to more youth with Puka and Kyron. But Cooper Kupp's still going to have a decent role enough to be a good wide receiver 2, if not get back to the wide receiver 1, low-end wide receiver 1 numbers. But at 30 right now, I have no choice but to put a Cooper Kupp. But there you have it. That is my top 30 Dynasty wide receivers at this point of the offseason as we get closer to the real NFL offseason. AFC, NFC Championship coming, and then road to the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, my Bills are not there. I'm crying tears of sadness. It sucks. We got to go golfing already. It's horrible. I am very depressed, but nevertheless, as always, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments, give me your thoughts, and we'll see you next time. I am out.